Well, I didn't seek help. My wife happened to see a magazine about the memory clinic and read it in a doctor's surgery. And it struck her then that I had these symptoms. So it was she who spotted it, although when it had actually happened, I can now see back and see where the symptoms were. One of the symptoms, I happened to be in New York in a museum, and I actually came into another exit, and then I panicked. Normally I would have just thought about it, but no, I panicked and I waited there, and in fact I'd come in by another way, and that was a really serious thing. And then later on I drove right across Kent, and then suddenly saw a sign I couldn't recognize, and I just stopped and I rang up my wife and said, I'm lost. So these were the stark signals that came after she'd seen this, from my point of view. There are lots of mechanisms that enable you to cope with this education and health. There are lots of things. But I would hope that I would have the 4-week course. I found that extremely helpful. What help you need? Well, you need medical expertise, and that's very often very difficult to get hold of. You want lots of long-standing membership of organizations, so you have lots of old friends. That's a general point. I found that it actually helps to tell people that you've got Alzheimer's, and I find the sympathetic response and kindness, this is an enormous help. I would say you have to be realistic. I was a city guide, and I had to resign because of the uncertainty of the diagnosis. But I have since then taken a forget-me-nots tour, which you can do. Yeah, that's it. And of course, in the forget-me-nots group, you begin to see people. But who helps me? My wife, my family. I'm very lucky. I have brothers and sisters and old friends and grandchildren, children. And one of the things we noticed, helpers, very often my plumber came, we had trouble, and then came immediately, and then he said his mother had got Alzheimer's, actually, so that and somebody who does the garden, all these people, when they know, they help, yeah. Very important is being able to continue driving. That's number one. Physical health, which means diet, exercise, fitness, yoga. I've done yoga for 30 years, so I think I believe in yoga. Useful activities. Social meetings, obviously you want to carry on as much as you can, but it's in these familiar environments that you operate most. I think my brother pointed out it's part of the aging process. I was diagnosed at 80, so you can't complain if you're 80 and you're diagnosed. You know, you're one of the lucky ones. And my brother said, you know, it's part of the aging process, and that's quite a good context to look at it, although you don't. You need to learn to say no, and you do need to pace yourself. And you do have to accept that the health service is stretched, and you may have to shout very loud. Also, I have a notebook, and I found the notebook very useful. Yeah.